everyone. I'm Suzanne Hamilton, Director of Ascension Counseling Center. You're watching Ascension Counseling Center's video newsletter, where we talk about the services we offer and how you can benefit from them. Thanks for joining us. In the next several episodes, you meet the staff at Ascension Counseling Center and hear about their specialties. We want you to meet everyone because we know you may be uncomfortable or nervous coming the first time to see us. It's our hope through these next few episodes you'll see how friendly and helpful our staff can be. Would you please stay with us for the next half hour or so? Our newsletter begins right after this message.
Ascension Parish, a parish steeped in tradition. It's a place where generations of families have continued to enjoy a lifestyle that centers on community living and community celebration. It's a place where we care about each other and we care about ourselves. For more than 50 years, the Ascension Counseling Center has continued the tradition of helping individuals and families change behaviors and change lives. The Ascension Counseling Center.
All right, thanks for staying with us. We're joined now by Ava Gerald, licensed professional counselor, and Gina Melanson, registered nurse. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about who you are and your background. So, Ava, you're a licensed professional counselor. And how long have you been with our agency?
I've been with the agency now for almost 3 years, or maybe a little over 3 years.
All right. And tell us a little bit about what it takes to become a licensed professional counselor and what your experiences have been.
Well, I graduated, I have an undergraduate from LSU, and I graduated with a master's degree from Southeastern. And the master's program for everybody that's a licensed professional counselor is 60 hours, and that's intensive study, internship, and supervision. So you're not just going for classwork and then let loose on the public, so to speak.
Yes.
After school is over, then you work again for 3,000 hours of supervised counseling services with the public.
So it sounds like you have a lot of experiences, not only in the classroom, but you're also having a lot of supervised experiences working with clients.
Right. And, the areas that you can work in, for me personally, when I first got into this, I thought I wanted to do like academic counseling. And that's sort of what my focus was. I was so impacted by, I went back to school as an adult, and I was so impacted by the counselor that helped me figure out my path, that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And as most things in life, things don't turn out the way you think, so funding, that's when they started cutting funding to universities, so jobs were hard to come by. And so I was preparing to go into internship, and I really didn't think I wanted to work with children. And of course I worked with children. I worked at Child Advocacy Services in Hammond and Denham Springs. And so I spent a year working with children. And I was blown away by those experiences. Children have such courage and resilience. And then I didn't really want to work with chronic mental illness because it frightened me, to be frank. I didn't know what it was about, and so there was some fear on my part.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by chronic mental illness?
Like schizophrenia, bipolar, severe depression, and
you're
this
talking
type
about
of
people who have
diagnoses.
difficulty functioning in everyday
life
and are going to need medications to be able to be balanced for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course I worked in that area too, and I gained a lot of compassion for people with those types of diagnoses and illnesses. Today I work with a wide variety of clients. I see some children, some teenagers, and I see couples and adults.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because at Ascension Counseling Center, we don't work with people who are chronically, seriously mentally ill.
Right.
We work with everyday average people like me and you, and all of our viewers out there, people with just activities of daily living or problems, academic problems, the kind of things that you're talking about.
Right. And so we see, I find that I see a lot of progress with people once they come in. Their daily living is all taken care of, and they're coming in for a specific purpose. And so we can work for that specific purpose and have them function better in their life and with their loved ones. And so that's very rewarding.
And I know that there's a group of people who's especially dear to your heart to work with, so tell us about that.
I like to work with older adults, typically women. Women tend to come in for counseling more often than men. Mm-hmm. And so I work with, I have a large group of older women who I work with, and I'm so inspired. They're, maybe because I'm approaching older age too, the stories that they have to tell and share, it's touching in some cases and inspiring in other cases.
And give us an example of the types of things that older women might come to our agency for.
Well, a big one is loss, and loss of a partner, loss of who they feel they are in a relationship. Some of them are dealing with being caretakers for their husbands who may have Alzheimer's or beginning Alzheimer's. And some of them are grandparents dealing with grandchildren and how to function with grandchildren in this day. And to not get caught between the parent and the grandchild. So it's sort of a wide variety. Diagnosis-wise, it's typically depression and anxiety. And so we work on how to control their anxiety, how to control their reactions so they're not overreacting to certain situations, checking out their expectations. What do you expect from life? And one thing that I always share with them is that we don't stop developing when we're a teenager or 20 years old. We continue to develop and go through stages and go through growth and be stuck even when we're in our 70s and 80s. And I think when we realize that, we become more open to change and to viewing the world in a more positive way.
So it sounds like what you're saying is sometimes when people come to see you and they're older and they might be stuck, they might be grieving, there might be a situation that they're dealing with and they feel stuck, and they really don't have that awareness that even though they're older, they can still make a lot of changes in their lives.
Yes, definitely.
They can do things different, think differently, yes, act differently, yes, feel differently.
So what a lot of people who come into counseling are shocked that I'm not telling them what to do. That's not my job to tell them what to do. But I can make suggestions on how to alter behavior or how to see something in a different light, reframing. We call that reframing. Mm-hmm. And so when we can do that and shift somebody's perspective, it gives them a whole different place to interact
Absolutely.
With other people. And so that's what I try to do. It doesn't change their story and it doesn't change who they are. It just makes them better at being who they are.
And that sounds like a great goal that they have.
Yeah.
All right. And you do another thing for the agency. You do a group.
I do a group. I created a group for pain management for people who suffer with chronic pain. And it's sort of a different perspective because there's no medication management involved in this group. It's strictly learning how to cope with what the cause of your pain, how you and your family view your pain, some things that you can do like monitoring your exercise, doing just the right amount, not going over, not going under, how to talk with your doctor in an effective way, how to be aware of what you expect from your medical team. And so it's more behavioral. Oh, and the other thing which I'm really excited about is I get to do mindfulness. Every week I choose a different mindfulness activity, because being aware of yourself and creating a quiet place in yourself to cope with pain is tremendous. To cope with anything is tremendous. And
for our viewers out there, explain to them a little bit what mindfulness is.
well, mindfulness is just getting quiet, being aware of the talk in your own head, silencing that, being quiet with it. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Being mindful brings along relaxation. And relaxation is critical for pain management. And so we don't just do breathing. Everybody thinks mindfulness is breathing. We do body scans, coloring, drawing mandalas, art. There's all sorts of different ways that we can get to the mindfulness route without just counting our breath.
So you're talking about this, that if somebody has pain in their body, you're giving them a lot of different ways to express that or identify it. And sometimes we're not even sure exactly where the pain is originating from. It may shoot to other parts of the body, and when we quiet down and try some of the techniques you're talking about, we can better understand where the pain is actually coming from, and it may give us different ideas about how to treat it.
Right, right. So the pain group is, I'm excited about it. I got to build it from scratch, so I'm kind of excited about it.
And you did a great job with
Thank
that.
you,
So we were really pleased, really proud to be able to offer that as a service to our community.
We also will step in and do some of the substance abuse groups and some family counseling, having everybody in one room so we can talk as a group and help people in that way too. So a lot of different things that we do. We do case management. We have a doctor on staff, and so we make sure that the client is seeing the doctor on a consistent basis, and that's handled smoothly.
Okay. All right. Well, Ava, thank you so much for all the information, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
All right. And next we'd like to introduce Gina Melanson, our registered nurse. Hi, Gina.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
And Gina, how long have you been with the agency?
I have been with Ascension Parish Counseling Center for approximately about a year now. Before that, I was working through the state as a registered nurse doing case management, but I was housed in the Parish of Ascension.
And tell us a little bit about your background. How do you prepare to become a registered nurse?
I received my training and education from Baton Rouge General School of Nursing. It was a very good school, tough school, a lot of clinicals, but that's where I got my training from.
Okay. And how about your background? What kinds of things have you done in the past before you came to us?
I started as an emergency room nurse and did floor nursing, and then got into long-term care, which is like nursing home facilities. When I was working in long-term care, I got wound care certified, so I specialized in wound care. And then I've done home health nursing. I've done, of course, mental health nursing and public health nursing as well.
And I think all of those varied backgrounds are the kind of thing that is making you very effective with us right now. Tell us about the things that you're doing for our agency.
Right now what I'm doing is a lot of case management type things, linking people in the community with valuable resources we have here, like if they're in need of dental resources, affordable health care, vision resources, food pantries, anything, shelters, anything they're in need of, I investigate and try to locate it for them to utilize. A lot of people are just unaware of some of the resources that are out there, and sometimes, you just really have to put it out there so that they can be utilized.
And we're very pleased to have you on board with us and to announce that we really have added that as another service of our agency, that we have a nurse on our staff who can provide resources, no matter what they are,
Right.
not just mental health, not
Right.
just physical health, but pretty much whatever people need when they come in, not only to our clients, but to everyone in the community.
Right. And also, I try to promote health education whenever I get an opportunity, because I feel like a lot of people sometimes aren't as compliant, so to speak, maybe with taking medications and doing certain things, making lifestyle changes, because sometimes they aren't educated about why they need to do it. You know, if they're running high blood pressure, but they're feeling okay, so they skip their medicines or what, I don't think that sometimes they realize the severity of certain things. So I find you get a lot more compliance out of people when you educate them, you know, about their disease processes and why the importance of it and what are the long-term effects if they don't.
So it's really important that people be working with their primary care physicians.
Right. And I do a lot of that. I link them into affordable health care, whether it be the indigent population, which are those who don't have, you know, a payer source or any insurance, or with a lot of the Medicaid, they are unsure of who they can go to for primary care and things like that, who accepts the insurance they've been placed in. So we try to, you know, I try to find them where they need to be with that, so they can establish medical homes. So.
And I know that some of the things that you do as well is working with Medicaid applications.
Yes, I also assist people in applying for Medicaid and contacting Medicaid on their behalf for certain things that they may not be able to navigate through. So, and that's, stay pretty busy doing that.
So it's really allowed our agency to kind of get into a more holistic
Right.
approach where we've always worked with our clients when they've come in and they've needed some kind of resource, housing or
Right.
a shelter or anything like that. And our counselors have kind of done that, and we've put together as many resources as we
Right.
could. But now that's kind of your specialization, and you've been
Right.
doing an excellent job of pulling
Thank
together
you.
resources and even resources for inpatient substance abuse treatment, even though our substance abuse counselors are experts in doing that and getting people
Right.
admitted, they're now coming to you as well for assistance in that. And this service and you have fit in very seamlessly, so that we've been able to provide a lot more services to our customers and to the community than we ever have before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Gina, for being with us, and
Thank
we're happy
you.
to have you both as part of our staff, Ava Gerald, counselor, and Gina Melanson, registered nurse. And please stay with us. The Ascension Counseling Center video newsletter continues right after this.
Everyone is different. You're having a really bad day and things don't look right. And you call the office and you say, I just don't know what to do anymore. I would tell you that that is not how it was meant to be. And it's not fair for you to go through life living a difficult life. But a lot of people that live in our parish don't realize that we're there, or don't know that you don't have to have insurance to go there. You can go there and we work strictly on your income. You could pay $2 to come in and see a doctor, to see a therapist. We have an anxiety group. We have a parenting group. You would be very comfortable being there. You can come in and we can talk to you and we can comfort you. We can be friends. We can understand. We can listen to what your problems are and what has caused you to feel the way that you feel. In the end, you would be very pleased that you ended up there. I've said it once before, but I'll say it again. It's more fulfilling than anything else that job could possibly give me, by seeing a patient or a child or an adult's life completely turned around. That's a good day. Hi, my name is Lisa Lopez, and I'm a nurse at the Ascension Counseling Center.
All right, welcome back. Joining us now are Stacy House, licensed professional counselor supervisor, and Andrea Perkins, accounting clerk. And Stacy, you're up first.
Hi, good morning.
Tell us a little bit about how you became a licensed professional counselor.
Okay, so just like all licensed professional counselors, I started with getting my bachelor's in psychology, and I did that at Southeastern, and I liked it so much that I stayed. And I got my master's degree from Southeastern too. And so I have my master's in counseling, and I specialize in marriage and family therapy there. Like Ava, I did my internship at Child Advocacy, where I got the opportunity to work with children who have been abused, sexually abused, or had traumatic incidents. And from there, I came to Ascension Counseling Center, and I've been at Ascension Counseling Center for a little over 6 years now.
But now you have a little bit of something different on your title. You have an LPC-S.
Yes.
Tell us
So
what that is.
my S is kind of new. My S means that I'm able to supervise people that are going through their own process of becoming a licensed professional counselor. So someone that's finished graduate school but is working on getting their professional licensure, I'm able to provide that supervision for them. So I enjoy that.
And that's an important part of our development as counselors, so that we don't do any harm to anyone.
Right.
We're always supervised by an approved,
Right.
experienced counselor, and so you've completed the requirements to become a supervisor for other counselors.
Right, and that's really a good thing. And I always told people when I was under supervision myself, it's kind of like you get the 2 for 1. So not only do you get 1 counselor, you get 2 counselors, because someone's always overseeing those cases, and so that's a good thing about that.
And how long have you been at the agency?
I've been at Ascension Counseling Center for a little over 6 years now. And I also, one of the other things I do is I specialize, or I have advanced training in child-parent psychotherapy, and that's kind of new for me as well. So I'm able to work with children in the 0 to 4 population as well as everybody else. I've had the experience of working with lots of different people from lots of different ages and lots of different depression, anxiety, divorce, behavioral issues, all different things on the spectrum that I'm able to
So
work
not
with.
many people work with children 0 to 4, and not many people would expect that you could work with children in that age range. So tell us first what you do with a child who comes in at that age.
Absolutely. So that, any child can't exist on their own. So it's really family systems. So you're working not only with the child, you're working with the parent, the mother, the father, the grandparents with them, and you're working on that relationship and how they're kind of working together. You're able to find strengths in that relationship and see what can go maybe a little bit better, and help them develop and learn about development through there.
I think that's a really important part where you say that we're looking for strengths in the family.
Absolutely.
And most people think that we're really looking for what's wrong and that we're going to criticize them and tell them stop it. But really what we're doing is looking for strengths and building on those so that those can force the weaknesses out.
Absolutely. So in a counselor's office, I think it should be a judgment-free zone. It's not a place, I tell my kids, this is a place where we talk about our feelings, we talk about when we're feeling happy, and we talk about when we're feeling sad or worried or anxious. But it's not a place you can get in trouble. It's not a place where we're judging you. It's not a place where anything can go wrong. So it's a safe place, and I think that's what you're touching on, is that we're building on strengths. We want to see what's going right and tweak maybe if there needs to be a little tweaking along the way.
So how do you help a child who's struggling?
That's a good question. So one of the things that I tell parents is if your child is struggling for whatever reason, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to look to you. So we know if a toddler is 2 or 3 years old and they fall and they skin their knee, they're going to look to mom or they're going to look to dad to see how mom or dad reacts, and they're going to take those cues. And so if mom jumps up and, oh my goodness, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you hurt? What is that toddler going to do? She's going to cry and she's going to wail, and she's going to take a long time to console, because not only does she have a skinned knee, but she had a really scary reaction from mom or dad. Alternatively, if the child falls down and they skin their knee and mom says, uh-oh, that's a big girl, that little girl's going to be like, I'm a big girl. I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep playing. And I think we can kind of take that example in times of stress or times of trauma. They're going to look to you first. So model for them how should you respond. That's not to say that we act like nothing is bad in the world, because we know we have bad things in the world. But model for them appropriate sadness, model for them appropriate strength. And so that would be the first thing that I think we can do as parents. We know, go ahead.
Yeah, you're kind of talking about the balance between empathy, showing an emotional response for someone who's hurting, your child is hurting, and responding in a way that makes it better instead of making it
Yes.
worse.
Yes, so we want to support and encourage our kids, and that's the goal, I would say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do you do to help families?
So I work with families just to, like I said, support each other. I think I mentioned that families are a unit. A child doesn't exist on their own, so we kind of see what's happening. We look at the family system. One of the things we have at our agency now is we have a newly renovated play therapy room.
Yes.
And so we sit on the floor and we watch the parents sit on the floor. We're able to see what's going on in that interaction together. And so that's a really great thing. We offer lots of different services. We'll work with you on your parenting skills one-on-one. We'll work on morning routines, homework routines,
Yes.
all different kinds of things to help and support families that way.
It sounds like one of the important things that you're saying is that whenever you have the family come together, that an unhealthy family is one that says, okay, this is a problem, and so you're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they might all point fingers at each other. You're the problem, no, you're the problem, or you're a bad parent, or you're a bad child. And instead what we're doing is trying to help them work as a team. That crying is a problem, and how are we all going to work together to solve it? So
Right.
they become more of a team instead of pointing fingers and expecting one or the other to solve it.
Absolutely, and we can all have, if this is when Susie cries, we can know that when Susie cries, this is Susie's job, and this is Mom's job, and this is Brother Joe's job, and this is Dad's job, and we can kind of set you up so that you know what to do in those situations. And that's what counseling really is to kind of give you tools that you may not necessarily already have. Maybe in the family system before that you were raised in, they didn't have those tools, so we want to kind of give those to you and help you learn those things to better achieve harmony and happiness in the home and have good outcomes. And so sometimes our outcomes that we get from counseling, we're not able to get everything that we had hoped for. Sometimes even with family therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy and child-parent psychotherapy and all of those things, it's not quite making the progress that you would hope for. And so in those situations, we have a psychiatrist on staff too, and we're able to assist the family in making decisions on whether or not there's a further problem. Maybe there's a predisposition for depression or anxiety, or maybe there's something that we haven't been able to get quite the results that we had hoped for. In situations like if little Susie can't make it to school, if she's so fearful or so anxious to get on the bus in the morning, we can kind of help in other ways with that too, if
And we
therapy
do have
alone.
children who are so fearful, they're school phobic, and they can't go to school, and they have to be taken out of the car screaming and
Right.
crying. And so what you're saying, and this is our philosophy at Ascension Counseling Center, is that we try counseling first, changing
Yes.
behaviors, changing feelings, changing thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we see it's necessary, then we might have that person see our psychiatrist. But that's entirely up to the family. The family can
Absolutely.
always say, no, I don't want to see
Absolutely.
the psychiatrist. I'd like to just work with this some more and get as far as we can with this.
Absolutely, and like you said, that's always up to the parent. Parents are the experts about their kids. I'll always say that. You have more information than I'll ever have. You have that child all of the time, and I have the child for maybe 1 hour a week if I'm lucky. And so we work with parents to help make those decisions.
All right. Well, thank you, Stacy, for being with us.
Thank you, I enjoyed it.
And next we'd like to talk to Andrea Perkins, our accounting clerk.
Hi.
So Andrea, how long have you been with the agency?
I've been with the agency 7 years and 7 months.
Wow. All right.
Yes.
And tell us what you do.
Well, right now I'm in the role as the accounting clerk. And with that, I'm responsible for the credentialing of the facility and the individual counselors. I'm responsible for verifying the insurance eligibility and coverage. I'm responsible for speaking with the clients once I figure out even if they're coming there for service, fee for service, I check over their income and give them their fees. So I'll speak with them about their fees for service and their co-pays. And I'm also responsible for the billing. I submit claims to the various insurance companies.
So everything having to do with accounting and billing and the
Yes.
charges.
Yes.
And I know one of the things you do when people first call in to find out if they can become a client with us, one of the next questions they have is, how much is this going to cost me?
Exactly.
And do you take my insurance?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're the person that they'll speak with about that. So
Yes,
tell us about
yes.
that procedure once you get the information from someone who wants to become a client, and then you need to call them and let them know what their fees are. Tell us a little bit about the process that you go through with that.
Okay, what I do when the intake lady brings me the insurance card, I go online and verify the insurance coverage. But then I still call to the insurance companies because sometimes stuff is not totally clear online to get a clear understanding exactly what they're going to pay, because I don't want to call a client and tell them they're going to pay $20 and they only have to pay $10. So once I figure out their fees, I call them and explain to them, you do have mental health coverage or substance abuse coverage, and this is going to be your fee to come in and see our counselors.
And the insurance can be really confusing, and people don't even know what their coverage is, what it's going to cover, and how much their copays are.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's very common for us. So I know it's got to be a real relief for them, and it is for us too, that you're there making a phone call for every individual person and saying, hey, what is their copay? What is their deductible?
Exactly.
And so that you can give them some accurate information.
And then the thing about it is, they kind of like, well, last year I paid $20. This year you're telling me I have to pay $35. Well, I really don't have any control of that. And they may not have changed their insurance carrier, but their fees have changed. And it's really nothing they can do about it, maybe just what their company has picked for them. And so that's what we have to go with. And so I kind of let them know, explain to them why it's different this year than it was last year.
Yeah, and so we really appreciate that personal service,
Mhm.
that we can give to people to let them know, because it can be very confusing.
Exactly.
And it does change a lot, and so what you think you have, you may not have.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we also are able to do, because we're supported by the property tax millage, is that we're able to give people a fee reduction if they need it. So tell us, what's the process if people need a reduction in their fees?
Well, once I speak with the client and they come in, they meet with their counselor, and they may explain to the counselor, if the counselor set them up to come 3 times a week or twice a week or whatever the case may be, the counselor would then speak with them and let them know, well, we have this service that we offer, that if you can't pay this but you do need to come for services, that we can get your fee reduced. And so what the counselor would do, they'll give me the form, and I will do a little research. I'll go back and I'll look at their insurance, and then I would pull their insurance, and then if the counselor say they may not be working anymore or whatever, so I'll have to find out if that insurance has term, and if they're getting any type of assistance, be it unemployment or anything like that, and that all that adds into what their fee is going to be. And once I collect all that information, I then send it to you for verification.
That's right, and I never second guess you. I know you've always done an accurate job.
Exactly.
And our fees for people who don't know is if someone is receiving any kind of public assistance, their fee is only $5.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they need a fee reduction, it's based on income. Anything that you earn up to $50,000, your fee is $10. And anything that you earn over $50,000, your fee is $20. So your fee is not going to be over $20 if you need a fee reduction. And, and everyone is welcome to ask for a fee reduction, a consideration of a fee reduction.
Yes.
So that we want to make sure that people can come for
Exactly.
services
Exactly.
when they need
And then
it.
a lot of them with their insurance have high deductibles also. So that's another thing we do take in consideration with their high deductibles. And we give fee reductions for that because they may have high deductibles or high copays. And if their copays are really expensive and they come in, or if they have multiple people in their families come in, we also offer the fee reduction.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. It's sometimes people's copay is $65.
Exactly.
I mean, it's almost what we charge,
Mhm.
and or they may have more than one child coming, or a parent and a child, and so it's not just one person coming once a week. Sometimes we have 3 people in a family coming once a week, and so that can really add up very quickly. So we will work with everybody to see what we can do for them in terms of their fees.
Yeah, we definitely work with them. And, you know, when I'm calling to collect that extra information from them to get their fee reduced, they are very willing to give that information because they do need to come for the services, but they just can't really afford it. You know, it's not like going to your doctor where you go maybe once every 3 months, but coming there is more of a 2 or 3 times a week. So it really gets expensive.
It does. Right. I've always heard that said that you need to have the right person for the right job, and you are the right person in this job.
Thank
you have a lot of concern for the individuals that we work with, and I've heard you be on the phone a long time making phone calls to try to determine what the best fee could be for the person, and making sure that you have their insurance is correct.
Yeah.
So,
and when I'm sorry, but when they call and say, I have an EOB and they say I owe $25, I'm like, let me look into it and I'm gonna check and see what's going on. And I call you. I just want to keep them comfortable because I know they're already coming there for services. I don't want them to be stressed out by fees. So I will look at what their EOB. They may fax it to me, email it to me. You know, I'll go online and I'll pull that EOB to see exactly what's going on. I'll take care of it on my end. I call them and explain to them what's going on, just to calm them down and let them know, hey, everything is okay. You can still come for your services. Everything is fine.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy and Andrea, for being with us today. We appreciate everything that you do for the agency.
Thank you.
And you can reach any of our guests on this show by calling the Ascension Counseling Center at 450-1016. Thanks for spending your time with us for this episode of Ascension Counseling Center's video newsletter. You can catch replays of the program exclusively on Ascension 21 on the days and times listed on your screen, or anytime on Ascension 21's YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you next time, where we'll introduce you to more of our staff and how our programs can help change lives. Remember, Ascension Counseling Center is here by way of your support. We're a department of Ascension Parish government, and as such, we're all parish employees. We're funded by a 2-mil property tax millage, which means that $2 from every $1,000 you pay in taxes goes to support our agency, so we can provide free and low-cost mental health and substance abuse outpatient services to the residents of Ascension. We're located at 1112 East Ascension Complex in Gonzales, off Worthy Road, across from the courthouse and next to the health unit. You can reach us by calling 225-450-1016. You can also find us on the web at www.ascensionparish.net/MH, and on Facebook at Ascension Counseling Center. Thanks for your support, and until next time, from everyone at Ascension Counseling Center, thank you for watching.